And all is well. Look at that, the red light just came on. Yay! Carrie's sneaking by. How are your tacos?
They were very good.
Okay. Did you go to Tico's?
Tito's Tacos. It's like a promotion.
Okay, additions or deletions to the agenda?
Oh, I do have one.
Okay, go ahead.
Want me to tell you right now?
Yeah.
It's just, I wanted to discuss hiring procedures over the summer.
Okay, so that would be new business, right?
Yes.
Okay. Hiring procedures over the summer. Anybody have a problem with adding that to the agenda?
No, but I have my first question.
What?
How are the agendas being developed
8:45.
now? How
I
are the
do.
agendas being, okay, so how, this is a curiosity question because
Yes.
we're in a new thing. So we have two administrators now, plus our
Right.
superintendent. Do you reach out to?
Not yet.
Okay.
And that was part of the retreat, is to figure out how we're gonna
Okay.
do this.
Okay.
But Tam, if you ever have anything, you have my email, because I send you lots of emails. on
Yeah.
Things that aren't very important. So if you ever have anything that you think of, send it to me.
Sure.
So I try to do the agenda Thursday or Friday before the meeting, so that I print one and actually bring one with me, because I
And we-
usually don't bring one with me.
Appreciate all of your work into it.
So if anybody thinks of anything too, we used to send them out, but hardly anybody comments on them, so. And then I send them to 2 emails for you and Carrie. I notice I have like 2 other emails for you too.
Get it all.
You get them all? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Cool. So thank you, Tamara. We'll do that. Any other additions or deletions? Okay, members of the public, Mark, you were here first. I think you're the only public here tonight. Just came to visit us
Yep.
again. 'Cause you missed
It's
us.
been a while.
No, we missed you.
Review and approve the minutes of the June 3rd, 2019 meeting that was held in Wardsboro. That was a very good meeting. We got a lot of stuff done. So somebody want to make a motion to
So
approve?
moved.
Laura moved it. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Barry seconds it. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, did you have your hand up? Oh, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Let's just say something.
Motion carries. Laura won't throw anything at you if you ask a question. It's just the long questions. Updates on Wardsboro focus work, and again, Tammy, I'm just leaving that in there.
So I do have something,
Good.
and I don't know if it needs approval from the board or not, but I would propose that over the summer, that the teachers and I work together 3 full days, and to plan from now to the winter, organize space and materials, and possibly order some materials. I'm proposing that 4 teachers work 3 days at a rate of $150 per day for a total of...
Well, hang on a second.
Sure.
I don't think you have to get that specific.
Okay.
So, again, it's kind of a new board. Some of this will be covered in the retreat, but my opinion is that we give you a budget, and we did put money aside for the Wardsboro focus, and I'm not running a school. I'm overseeing something. So if you're gonna be within, hang on, and I'll get to you. If you're gonna be within budget, if it fits your budget and fits what the money was put aside for, I think all you have to do is let us, it'd be nice to know that you're doing that, but I don't think you have to get permission.
Okay, so I'm proposing 2 days in July and a 3rd day in August.
Okay. Well, let's have discussion on that. Go ahead.
Okay, so now my question I think is for the administrators.
Sure.
So, you're used to each having your own budget. Now you're sharing.
No, they don't each have their own budget.
No, I said you're used to.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay.
Each having your own budget. And so now you are both accountable for the same budget. So do you all have a plan for how, when we say something like, it's your budget, you're gonna have to manage to it, where you two are communicating, or is that something that has to be developed?
We talked about it a little bit. Line items like PD, in which we might share, we talked about the possibility of developing a spreadsheet that we could both utilize.
So that, and then the way the accounting system is set up, we have the ability to see
Right.
different, what's the word they use, Tammy? I want to say purposes, but different projects. So for example, if there's X amount of dollars in for the Wardsboro focus work, we can see that money isolated.
So it's like a line
And
item.
it's described, so there's no
Yeah.
risk that I would accidentally spend or request to spend the money that's been set aside, because we can see specifically what each project, sub-project is meant for.
Do you all have your own time together that you, like, is there any scheduled time for the two of you?
I think there is.
Outside
There
of,
isn't
like, the
scheduled
super-
time, but we've definitely already had a couple of meetings.
I'm just curious,
So you
like,
can
while we're
also-
building this, what are the, you know,
Yeah.
systems that we're putting in place, you
Yeah.
know?
You have
So-
the team, the ATM meetings, so administrative team meetings.
Yeah.
But these guys are unique in that they're sharing a budget different from the,
No, because there's 5 other towns sharing a budget.
but, well, right, but they need their own, they're not all talking about.
Right, but
budgets.
that may be something that you guys can bring up to Bill, is maybe there's, at your ATM meetings, he'd give you, everybody a block of time so the West River group can, talk, and you guys can visit if you have to about budgets, because that's still a monthly meeting, isn't it?
Yeah, and as it is now, we just, when something comes up, we just pick up the phone and call or
Yeah.
email. And it's, so far, it's worked pretty well. Make it more intense, we may have to have a monthly meeting, but so far it's.
Well, you'll have to be building a budget
So-
together,
well,
that's true.
right?
So I think, at least in Dover, and maybe Rick and Dwight and Mary can speak to Wardsboro, but, we've pretty much, we don't want to run the budget, we just want to make sure you stay within it. And, if things are tight in one area, kind of maybe we can save some money in other areas. But we've always kind of, at least in Dover, felt that, just let us know what's going on. If things get tight, then, let us know. But as long as you're within your budget and it's something that we've all talked about, then, pretty much you don't need to ask permission. That's your job. I'm hoping with this board, with the River Valley Board folks, to, part of the retreat is to, in September, to start having a monthly review of the budget too, so we can go through line item by line item and just say, hey, look, you're into September, you're barely into the budget, but you spent 90% of the preschool budget because Lindsay asked for something, you guys all said yes, and she, now has a Cadillac she, brings to school and shows the kids. So that's the kind of stuff, but I think, does anybody disagree with that, or is everybody comfortable with that? Saying, go ahead, it's your budget, and it's yours and Matt's budget, get together.
I am interested in the systems, how the systems are coming together. I mean, I think, so from time to time, hearing how you guys are developing that, I think would be useful for us, for the citizens of both the towns.
The only question I would have is it required for the teachers to do this, or is it part of the contract, or is it one of their
No,
services?
this is
How does
why.
it-
Yeah, it would be in addition to their contract.
Okay,
That's why, she could use professional development time if she didn't have other things scheduled, to say, okay, one day professional development may be, STEAM or STEM driven.
okay.
But for this is more organizational, right? More kind
Right.
of like nuts and bolts than
Sure, getting
really.
it, yeah, exactly. And one of the reasons why I did want to bring it to your attention is because in the contract in 12.3, it does talk about teachers who are requested to work on extra educational projects will be compensated or provided release time for this work as agreed upon in advance by the teacher and the board. So just sort of following that.
But I think, isn't there something there, if you're paying, I don't know if the board needs to approve it.
I
Want to do it just to be safe?
don't know that we need to approve it either, but I don't want to leave Tammy with the sense that we don't care. Like, I definitely want to know, but I think what you are, we have always here felt like we're hiring educational experts, and, their job is to manage the budget, keep us, from being surprised, but.
So I'm not getting the sense that you don't care at all. It's just
Yeah.
me being new to the board. It's sort of a dance and me trying to figure
Yeah.
out what you expect and what you don't. So,
We're all new board.
Yeah.
We haven't operated the school as a group yet.
right.
Rick, you in?
We're still not, right?
Right, not
Yeah,
till
true.
July 1st.
It's all new.
But that's what she's asking for.
No, I mean, I think if they just give us guidance along the way and let us know if something's, we'll get updates from the central office and we'll look at those and, if you have any questions, we'll ask you. But if you tell us, what's upcoming, I think we'll be fine with that.
So maybe, Peter, would you just note that, the board was unanimously supportive of Tammy's request?
Yes, sir.
I don't think we need a motion or anything, nobody spoke against it. And we'll- Okay, so you're comfortable with that? Cool. Anything else on your focus?
That's pretty much it.
Okay, stay focused. Okay, discuss retreats. Any topics the board wants to discuss? So there's a good topic. Budget. Budget, how is it gonna work with 2 buildings? And I guess the other thing is we should clarify and maybe ask, we should look in the contract and just clarify that. Maybe you guys could do that for us. Is that something we really should approve? Because if it is in the contract that the board approve it, then maybe if you came to us and said, because of the contract, you know, that would be helpful for us. So I know we've talked about it a little bit. We're planning on having the retreat on August 5th from 5 to 8:30. I thought maybe from 5 to 5:15 if we had any important things that had come up or any changes that needed to be made for anything. But is there anything that people have questions about or thoughts about that? We thought this first retreat was more like how does it work? Currently, you know, I would stop in and visit Matt. I should have visited more, but, you know, try to get up here once a month. It was probably like 3 times this year. You know, but then, like, I would feel really strange driving to Wardsboro to drop in on Tammy and say, hey, how are things going? Is there anything I can help you with? But then I don't think it would be good if you know, Barry just drops in on Tammy, I drop in on Matt, because then it's kind of different. So those are the kind of things I want to discuss, how we make sure that everybody feels comfortable. You know, the board stays in our role, that we're not running the school, we're overseeing, you know, a budget, and we're overseeing a program. And I want the administrators to feel comfortable, but, you know, because we have 2 administrators in 2 separate buildings, you know, does that mean the superintendent has more authority? Does the superintendent approve the budget? Maybe, you know, Tammy, that would be a thing that goes to Bill, and if Bill's good with it, then, you know.
Yeah, I ran it by him before tonight.
Okay, so, but I mean, you know, maybe if Bill approves it, then we don't even have to approve it. It's just a, you know, hey, you know, the superintendent's aware of it. So those are the kind of things I wanted to cover. I also wanted to cover, you know, how the budget is going to work, and, you know, what happens if, you know, tuition, it doesn't matter whether it's from Dover or Wardsboro, but, you know, keep tracking. One of the things we have on the agenda is eventually we got to talk about tuition policy. You know, for Jerry Goulet was in for Dover, and I know Stratton just went through some issues with their tuition policy for because they tuition elementary and high school. So that was something I thought we could discuss, how the administrators in the buildings work with tuition requests. And that was kind of all I had. I don't know if anybody else had anything.
I think a general review of policies, of what we need going forward.
Yeah, because we only did the required ones.
Exactly.
We had, you both, Wardsboro and Dover had.
We have the required ones, and I'm sure you do also have some Dover policies that
Right.
were just for Dover that we should probably look at for all of us.
I don't know if we said it or not, but Matt and Tammy, can you guys look at your respective policy books and anything that you guys, and maybe talk amongst yourselves, anything you think is important that should be, that you would like to see for River Valleys, bring it up to us at yep.
So we had sent some items for the agenda for tonight, including this topic.
Oh,
And Bill was planning to present this, but he kind of asked us to talk about it a little bit.
okay, so you want to cover that new business?
We could cover it in new business, at least the 3 of us have already talked about it. We met last week, and we looked at the Stratton policy, and we looked at the Dover, and we looked at the Wardsboro, which are, I think, we're almost identical. But Stratton is really kind of taking a new direction. We can talk about it in new business.
Okay, but that's just the one policy, right?
Right.
Will you guys look at other policies besides that? Like, I know in Dover, we used to have a bus policy, you know, who could use the bus, because we had a bus driver that was working with the Girl Scouts, so he wanted to take the school bus for a Girl Scout trip. So there's that kind of stuff, and then again, I don't know if there's policies, Tammy, or the Wardsboro guys that you would think would be good for the river valleys.
Yeah, I'll look through.
Okay.
And I just know there's some really old ones that,
Yeah.
just fall by the wayside, so do this. We should probably look through them and see which ones
We want to
we
move
might
forward.
want to at least discuss.
Yeah. Okay.
So we can bring those to the retreat,
Yeah.
or do you want them ahead of time?
Okay, if we can get them ahead of time, just and then it's that way people can look at them, and any changes you guys think maybe.
That way we don't have that awkward silence of all of us reading them.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Even though we'll all be reading them as as we get to them in the meeting, but I promise to read them ahead of time. Anything else, guys, for the retreat? Tammy, we gotta talk about food too, from wherever we can get food over there. Okay, then financial review from central office.
One question.
Yeah.
This
On
is just, we were
retreat.
talking, retreat,
Yes.
yes. Operational
Yep.
questions? I mean, it might not make a big difference, but like school closings or delay, might be different of what Dover needs versus Wardsboro, what Wardsboro needs versus Dover. But I know that there was a question of like, well, how, is there going to be any coordination between the two administrators? If Dover decides to have school, but Wardsboro, the weather's there, does it need to be the same or does it not?
That's a good thing.
Is that something that's important or not important, and how are they going to make those decisions?
That's a really good retreat topic.
Early in the morning.
Well, they have to make it early in the morning.
Right, even earlier in the morning than they're making those decisions. Or is that not a concern that whatever the needs are for the individual towns is what they
No,
call it?
I think that's a really good, excellent topic for a retreat.
I'm sorry, is that about decisions to close a building?
No, about snow delays.
Oh, sorry.
Mostly weather delays
Got it,
or
thank you.
emergency delays.
Well, delays or closings,
Big
yes.
difference.
Yeah.
But not closing buildings, we're just talking about,
Not closing in
Not
purpose, but
talking about
closing
those-
because of the weather.
I'm talking about snow days.
Nobody's closing.
No one's closing a building, we're just talking about
Putting all
delays
that
and,
adrenaline back where it came from.
and is that
So in
something
the
important?
newspaper, Carrie McDonald.
So is
said,
I'm
"Hey,
talking
guys,
about
let's close the
snow.
building."
Remember that white fluffy stuff?
Don't go there.
Hard to
Now we're
remember.
getting really off. Okay, no, that'll be a good thing to put on the retreat. There used to be a policy actually for school closings for Dover. I don't know if we did away with it, but
I'll look through the old book and see.
yeah, the good book. Thank you, Karen. Anything else from anybody before we move on? Financial review from central office. So encumber excess funds, which was done. So there was an email from Lori who hired Anita for, I have it here, I probably won't be able to find it really quickly, but I think whatever we had talked about the last meeting, Lori got Anita signed up to
That was $3,000.
right, for future publicity, for whatever, we decide as we move forward, to use up that rest of that grant. So that got put in before we, before the end of the year, so we should be good with that. Did I send that out to everybody, or does nobody know what I'm talking about?
You know what you're talking about?
And then, so from Anita, we have, hello, just checking in with you about River, I'm sorry, that was last meeting. I can't find it, but we're, so we got Anita for when we decide we move further down the path with the Wardsboro focus and whatever comes up next year, and then we've got a budget next year that's going to be now voted on from the floor, so we'll have to get some information out. So We have a non-certified employment benefits handbook, and I have copies of that. Did everybody get that? Or did they need copies?
So the same one from last year?
No, there were some changes made. Actually, quite a few.
Those are the changes made.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Go.
This is great.
Okay,
This is
so
great.
the issue is before we discuss this, I've got some employee-specific things that we need to talk about. So I'm gonna ask that we hold off on this and do this after, we can do an executive session to discuss specific employees, because it may change our mind what we do in this. So does anybody have an issue with that?
No.
Okay. Transportation, Matt and Tammy, oh my gosh. They're waiting outside to come in. What do you got for transportation routes you want us to approve?
So we're still in the, what are yours?
I do.
We're still in, working on some of the times, but I think we agreed at the last meeting that,
Yeah, I think it's just,
Just
we're required to post stops, right?
right? So these are the stops that we're proposing.
And I only have one copy. Do you want me to make a copy
No,
for everyone?
why don't you let me see,
No.
they pass it
I
around.
don't, I do have maps, but I don't know if,
Maps are good.
Maps are good, okay.
No, he's only had one. I'm good. I had that map. I'm just kidding.
Okay, let's go this way, Matt and Tammy. I'll start with Tammy. Can you tell us what the changes there are from this current year? Are there any changes?
just, there are the only changes that we know of are the students that are graduating, and then a couple of students who will be bus riders.
Okay, so
But there
have
are-
you expanded the routes?
No.
And
No.
do you have any different stops than you did? Are you taking any stops off and putting any stops in?
There were some stops taken off, and I don't believe there are any added in.
Okay, what, do you recall which ones you took off?
No, I don't.
Okay,
Jennifer did it for me, so I'm,
okay. Same question.
So it's gonna have, we're gonna have the same problem, so we took off stops where
I see.
sixth graders graduated, we don't need those. One piece of note is that we have only one family going up over Cooper Hill, that whole loop, Valley View, Cooper Hill, and they haven't used the bus in the last several months, so we're removing that loop, that piece of the run. Other than that, the stops are all stops that we've used before. No new stops that we haven't used before, and several stops that we don't need anymore have been taken off.
Okay. So what we need is, we just need a motion to approve the stops as presented to be published 30 days before school starts.
So moved.
Okay, so Lauren moved, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Rick seconds it. Are you ready to vote?
Is this for both of them?
Yes.
Okay.
So, just
I'm sure this,
a clarification. So if we have a new family move into either town, that is not
there's three.
exactly not, like, how will we deal with adjustments to the
Oh,
bus routes?
that's a really good question for the
So there's two
operational
buses that go to
thing.
Leland Grade anyway.
So how will we deal with it between now and August 5th?
So what we've been doing in Dover is, if it's a stop that's been used before, that's, we know has been approved by the Transportation Committee, and it's a stop that's not on the current list, we would notify the Transportation Committee that we're reviving a previously approved stop for a family that's moved in. If it's a new stop request, then we would put the request out to the Transportation Committee for discussion and feedback on, and then we would make a decision based on that. And so as long as we can at least have communication with the Transportation Committee over the summer, if new families move in, and we have to propose new stops, that would be really helpful to us. I know that Tammy has to work with West River.
Yeah, we never had a transportation committee before, so we just work with the transportation company, and typically, they'll say either yay or nay.
What about your road foreman, or, I don't know, do you have a road
We
foreman?
don't really involve, typically they're not involved.
They don't care.
I don't know that they don't care, but they're just not part of the discussion.
I mean, I know Dover Highway is just there because they want to know where the bus routes are because.
So they consult the roads.
Well, they, make sure that, the bus is going over there, that they try to keep the bus from sliding off the road.
Sure, and we're state road except for there is a run on the South Wardsboro Road, so it's mostly on Route 100, which is taken care of by the state.
So I guess since we're still having discussion then, would we want to then, maybe we need to consider after this motion, just to give Matt, Tammy a transportation committee group that can include those people until we kind of decide officially how we deal with that. Just so you guys have somebody to talk to.
One for both
Yeah, it can be,
buildings?
yeah, I think that would work.
I mean, it's fine, I think we just have to make sure that we have.
Because
knowledgeable
obviously if it's
people
in
on it.
Wardsboro and it involves our bus, we would talk with our bus drivers. If it involves the West River group, Tammy can, ask whoever is gonna represent West River and her people, and then we don't need to, but just if we gave them 4 or 5 people on this committee, then they can just call the appropriate people.
Do you want us to make a motion to form a committee?
Well, no, we got a motion and a second on the floor that we need to deal with first. I'm saying afterwards, we may want to just give them that in case something comes up. Yes, Peter?
Would that be a liaison?
No, it's always been a subcommittee.
Okay.
Yes, Matthew?
So we did have a transportation committee that met earlier this school year to talk about.
Well,
those.
and again, I think that discussion goes with the next, yeah. Just because you guys brought that up, what happens if,
Yeah.
Laura's question, I think, brought us to that. Is everybody okay with the bus routes as proposed? So Dover lost 3 bus routes, 3 bus stops, and Wardsboro lost a few. And other than that, they're pretty much the same as last year. We have a motion by Laura and a second by Barry. Is there any more discussion? By Rick, I'm sorry. Trying to give you credit because you said next. Okay, if there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. Do we want to give you guys a transportation committee, so if you do have something off the beaten path that you want to consider, would that be helpful for you two between now and when we kind of get more operational?
Yeah, sure.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, so we did, Carrie had a group of parents from both Dover and Wilmington.
It was
Or
administrators, it was the town road commissioner, it was the bus drivers, was parents, and it was even between Wardsboro and Dover.
So-
And we met maybe 3 times, I think.
So this would just be specific to if you had a request. This isn't just to try to rethink the whole transportation. So if we were to make a group of a board member,
Central office.
central office, and admins, driver / company, and highway, and parent. 2 parents, 1 from each town. Would that work for you folks? And what we'll do is we'll call on the people that were part of the River Valley's Transportation Committee and see if those parents want to serve. And it would just be, again, I know a lot of these are done by phone, or, it's not a long process. You used to do it, I think, for us for a while. Is there a board member? So I guess then we should make a motion to set up the makeup of the committee. A transportation committee to assist the administration and the schools with bus
Adding bus
stops.
stops.
Adding bus
Or
stops
changing.
or routes. Okay, Barry made that motion. Did you get it, Peter?
Yes.
Do we have a second? Laura?
Second.
Okay, do we have discussion?
So the Transportation Committee for the River Valleys that was set up last fall, was it just for the purpose of looking at
The overall.
the overall? Okay, so now they're disbanded and you're creating a new
You said that they,
transportation-
yeah, you wanted to, your recommendation from your committee was to, hopefully, central office would need
Yes.
to do that. So we can still ask the same people if they want
Got
to
it.
serve, but it's a little bit, it's not a broad, it's going to be a specific question that Tammy's going to come and say, hey, look, we used to stop here, but now we have two people living in the house up here. We want to go up here, we have a safe turnaround, and what do you guys all
More
think?
traditional questions.
Right.
Yeah.
It'd be like a specific, not a general,
Mhm.
overall. Everybody okay?
And so, I'm just sitting here thinking about why we put the transportation committee in place, and that was because we moved away from doing door-to-door service,
Mhm.
which we do not have in either one of the towns. So I mean, just
Well,
making
which
sure that we.
transportation committee? The River Valleys one or?
No, the Dover one. I mean, we put that in place because we moved away from door-to-door service,
Well, and it was to approve stops.
Right.
To make sure they were in safe locations.
right? So, I mean, the purpose of this committee would be, I mean, again, we're not doing door-to-door with the two towns. We don't really have a, okay.
I mean, so what we're doing is we're going to go with the recommendation of so again, if there's an additional stop asked for because somebody moves into 152 Valley View Road, which is halfway from Route 100 to Cooper Hill, now is Matt going
Yeah.
to reopen that route because he's not doing it? So he would check with the transportation committee. The transportation committee could say yay or nay, or they could say, hey, look, 152 is a good spot, but we can stop at 160. And the child can walk up the road and that would be a safer stop or whatever.
So for safety
Well,
and,
well, safety and if we want to add the route. And then if the transportation committee decides no, and the parent doesn't like that, they can come to the board. Or if the transportation committee says yes, but Matt doesn't like it because he doesn't feel it's safe, he can come to the board. The board, can be like the Supreme Court. We're gonna wear powdered wigs, dress in robes.
if the transportation committee comes in like that, get a picture and then call the cops.
Laura, when we met as a transportation committee, there was consensus about not having door-to-door service.
Yeah.
I think Wardsboro had a consensus about that as well as Dover, the makeup, that was not really, clearly not what either school was doing, nor what we
Yeah.
saw the future of what we would be recommending.
Okay, so it's a pretty general question we're voting on, whether to set up this transportation committee, which is going to be a board member, central office, administrations, the driver, company, highway, and 2 parents. Are we all ready to vote?
And bus drivers?
Bus driver company, bus company.
Yes.
Yes.
We all ready to vote? Okay, all those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Did everybody say aye?
Yeah.
Aye.
No, so it's a unanimous motion. So, central office, do you know if the operational guy accepted the position?
I have not heard yet.
So the central office interviewed an operations person to oversee buildings, transportation, infrastructure. And he did a tour last week, and I guess you guys got to meet him. I got to see him for a few minutes. He was over having lunch at the saloon. And that would be probably the appropriate person to see if he would serve on this with you folks. And then you have the 2 administrators who would serve. You would have your bus driver or your transportation company. We include the highway department, the road commissioner, if you
Yeah,
want.
we invited them the last
Right,
time.
and if they come, they come, they don't, they don't. And then if we had a parent I'm sure we had at least one parent from each town. Can you folks, do you mind just checking with the parents and see if one of them wants to? And if you had more than one parent from each town, they both want to serve, just put their names in a hat and draw it out of a hat. That's what we usually do. And then we just need one board member to volunteer.
Crickets.
I'll volunteer, fine.
Will you? Yeah. Okay, so Rick will be the board representative.
I know nothing about transportation, but why not?
Well, learn.
You can drive the car, right?
It's good.
I
Okay.
can't drive a car, thank you.
There you go. That's something about transportation.
You're a truck.
Thank you, Rick. Moving right along. Anybody else have any old business? Did I miss anything in the minutes? I actually try to read the minutes when I do agenda. New business. You know what, we didn't add you, but you want to talk about preschool, so where did we put that in?
We can put it under new business.
Okay, so what do you want to do, hiring procedures first, or you want to do preschool? What do you want to do, Rick?
No, let's do preschool.
Preschool. Okay, so
That
we
sounds like
have
an easier subject.
Lindsay Brown Rosso, who is Dover's preschool teacher hired this year,
Hi, Lindsay. Nice to meet you.
alumni of the Dover Elementary School, and whose grandfather served on, great-grandfather and grandmother served on the board for years and years. Her grandfather built the original building, her great-grandfather. And I know, Matt, you and Tammy have had some discussion too, so is this a presentation? Is it how do you?
We have a clarification request that we'd like to present to the board on this, and I'm okay to do that if you guys want to do that. So Tammy and I met, and Bill and I, the three of us met last week. Lindsay brought a family, one of our families who is a current 3-year-old, the 3-day program, who was requesting to participate in the full-day, full-time program, but not all 5 days, just 3 of the 5 days. So we're looking for some clarification from you as a board. Essentially, what you think of this. We put our heads together as administrators, and what we think. We spoke to the teachers in both buildings and got their input on what this means to the program, but we would just like some direction from the board, some clarification on the idea of somebody not using the program, the full program, but sort of taking part of the program. Was that clear to you?
Basically modifying it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Basically modifying.
Right, modifying the schedule.
Yes.
One student. So, just from a little background, when we started this program in Dover, it was just a 4-year-old program, and we had a bunch of parents say, well, I'm gonna have my child here Wednesdays and Thursdays, and not Tuesdays and Fridays. And the Dover board felt that this was not, this wasn't like a daycare, this was an educational program, just like when we were in high school or when you're in college, you got to go to your classes. You can't just, go 3 days a week and miss 2 days a week and expect to get what's in the program. So we've been pretty stern about you either sign up or you don't. The other side of the coin, though, is a little bit of something better than nothing at all, because then at least, Lindsay and the staff and whichever building it is, and the guidance counselor all have exposure to the student too. So, the idea behind the preschool was to catch problems and issues earlier on and correct them so that, they weren't a problem in kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade. So I would want to ask, not specific to this case, but what your thoughts are with the two things, being it's a program, you go to the whole program versus I don't go to the whole program.
Can I just ask a question? Could you just remind us what the program looks like for the 3-year-olds, again, the days and the hours, and the 5-year-old program? And just to make four. I always say 5, 3, 4,
You're
in
not a
both
number
schools.
person.
So the 4-year-old program is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and that runs from the beginning of the school day until 11:20. And and then the group 5s who are 4 and then they leave as 5-year-olds, so you weren't wrong, is Monday through Thursday, and that ends at 2:45 and then 11:20 on Fridays.
Is that the same?
It's different at Wardsboro. So for the first time, we will be taking 3-year-olds for next year. It will run Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 8 until 11:55. And then our 4-year-old program is a 5-day-a-week program.
All day.
All day, yeah.
Even with that?
Yes.
Well,
I knew that it was slight variations, that's why I just wanted to know what the standard was.
Like all
so
day.
how many hours are how many hours is a 3-year-old and the 4-year-old in Dover?
So the 3-year-old program is based on the universal pre-K, what the state will support. And so that is 10 hours a week for that.
And is that the same in Wardsboro?
Ours will be about 12 hours because it will be 8, 9, 11, yeah, so it'll be about 12 hours.
Okay, and the 4-year-old program is?
The 4-year-old program is about 7.5 hours, roughly.
7.5?
Yeah.
Per day?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much the same as,
7.5 hours.
yeah,
Same.
exactly.
Okay. So, are you okay?
Yes, I just wanted to make sure
Okay,
what the
so
standard was.
what do you folks, as administrators, what are your thoughts, and Lindsay as a teacher, what do you guys think?
Yeah, we had some thoughts. Do you want to go first, Lindsay?
Sure. I just worry a little bit about if you make a modification for one family, then that opens modifications for any and all families. And then as a teacher, juggling all of those different schedules and then your curriculum, knowing, how to plan for that and who will be here when and that sort of thing would be very challenging, I think.
Is it doable?
Well, I think it's doable, but I think what you said earlier is really important, that when you start making modifications to the program, that you can't expect the exact same outcome, because the program is created the way it is for a reason. So.
Anybody, any questions for Lindsay?
Do you have an attendance policy? Is the school attendance policy the same? 45-year-olds as it is for grades 1 through 6?
No, it is, because one of the things is that, the state law says, if you sign up for school and you don't attend those dates, then you're truant.
It actually doesn't, it's ages 6 to 16, it's considered truancy.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
I'll go with a lawyer.
I'm not going to mess with you on that.
It doesn't take into account pre-kindergarten.
Okay,
It's
I
mandatory.
thought there was a law, and it's not, it's in a different spot.
Because that's Title 16.
Right, but there's
There could be
a,
something within the pre-K regulations.
yeah, there's somewhere
I'm
that
not
says
sure.
that if you sign up, so you don't have to go if you're in 3 and 4-year-old, but if you sign up, you have to go. And
As
it-
far as what's deemed truant, you're not considered truant until 6 to 16, that kindergarten to 16. In other words, if someone comes to me to say, I have a pre-kindergartner that's truant, I'm not filing a CHIN's petition for truancy
Okay.
because it's not considered truant under the definition of CHIN's truancy in Title 33.
Okay. But that's what we had done in the past. We'd always felt that, so. We all good with
One
Lindsay?
more question, I think. So would there be a difference in modifying just the day, like partial day as compared to missing a whole day during the week? In other words, I would think it'd be more disruptive to the classroom if they just wanted to come for a couple hours rather than missing a day in a week. If they were to come two days a week rather than
Right,
partial
so it would be less disruptive if they left at 11:20 when the younger group leaves. That's a pickup time, and that would be slightly easier than, making up their own time.
The modification we're talking about here is less on not asking for more, because they couldn't ask for more than already.
No,
did.
they're not asking.
Okay.
Okay, Tammy, you wanna?
No, I think Lindsay really summed it up really nicely. I think it is hard to plan for activities when, you know, students aren't present. And I think if you get into modifying schedules for one family, then how do you say no to another family? And then as a teacher, you're saying, okay, well, on Monday I've got these 5, but Tuesday I've got these 7, and then Wednesday there's 4 kids coming. So it really gets,
So you have to go back and teach what you did.
right,
Right,
exactly.
and then some children might have already been there for that,
Right.
so.
Matthew?
Yeah, just one other thing to add, that is, in cases where Tammy and I have seen partial attendance, either in our programs or others, we have seen that when kids go on to the next step, they're less prepared. So they just haven't had the hours that other kids have, so they may be a little behind. And the point of our program is to, like you said, Rich, to expose kids as often and as early as possible so that they can be as scattered as they can going on to the next thing. So, yeah, we've seen some cases of students where they haven't participated fully, and we see in kindergarten that they struggle more than their peers do.
Kind of following on that, have your kindergarten teachers expressed then where those students are as far as with their peers and where they're needing to start with those students that may have not had as many hours or time in the pre-kindergarten program, how that's affecting the kindergarten teacher of catching up those students? You know, feedback and data is really important to help make those decisions for the board. And it was really helpful when Mrs. Baker, the kindergarten teacher here, was informing the board, Dover board, last year or this fall about modifications.
Right, when we transition to the full day.
Yes.
Yes. So you may remember she mentioned that she sees kids, they take sometimes months to catch up with their peers. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, we've had so many few cases, so there isn't, I wouldn't say solid data to prove that.
Did you have any feedback from your kindergarten teachers about modifications to the pre-kindergarten program? If they had thoughts about that, of, you know, those are going to be their future students, how that would impact their classrooms?
As
for the
far
next-
as modifying pre-K schedules?
Yes,
So-
if they had any thoughts about, you know, modifying the pre-kindergartners, what they might expect and how that would impact their kindergartners, the same students as kindergartners.
I think Matt just answered that.
Yeah, is that still their position, your teachers?
Definitely, for Mrs. Baker.
Mhm.
I can't speak for her.
But your kindergarten teacher is your
Is
preschool
also,
teacher.
right, so it's a little bit different of a.
Yeah, so
Okay.
she's
Yeah.
got it a little different.
Yeah.
So I guess then,
A little more
yeah,
question or concern. I'm just worried, one of the things we talked about in Wardsboro, we discussed this issue, and some of the families who came said they would have trouble making it to all the days. Is there any concern by insisting or requiring they go to all 3 days that we may not get all the students that we could be capturing at the school by, is there a way to have a minimum 2 days or something? Did you guys talk about that issue? And there certainly are other places in town where kids could go.
We did not discuss that
Okay.
issue.
so we have had that discussion in the past, and we talked about going to a full-day kindergarten for several years.
No, what I'm suggesting.
Preschool.
What I'm saying
just-
is,
no,
I'm
hang
sorry.
on.
Okay.
And I really fought it because we really only got by the time you do the nap and the lunch and the play period and all, it only increased the educational opportunity by 45 minutes. So we were doubling our costs and not getting that much more education. But what we were told was that a lot of parents weren't coming because it was difficult for them with their 4-year-old to pick them up. So we made a modification for that. So the other question that came up is, then if we're modifying to go to a full day for those, are we penalizing kids by saying, if you left at 11:45, you're not losing that much you're only losing like 45 minutes, even though you're gone for a few hours. So that was one of the concerns. And/or if a child gets nothing, then they go to grandmother's house or they go to their aunt's house and they get nothing. Where would one day be better than no days?
Right.
But then again, it's difficult on an
No, I understand.
instructional. So
I understand the
that's a
argument.
question.
Yeah, I understand the argument completely. It makes sense to have a structure in the 3 days and the development. I just hate to lose some kids that go in
Right.
twice a week and then they go somewhere else and we don't capture them.
Right, or is there something else we can do to capture those students and not put the burden on the preschool teacher? Could we do some, like they used to do, there used to be a program for 3-year-olds, but it was like once a month or something, and maybe we try, but then that doesn't, these
Yeah.
people are looking for
I don't
a
think
couple days a week.
I guess if there was a minimum, would 2 days a week, but you're saying, I understand the argument, but would 2 days be enough? Where some families just may not be able to do all 3 days.
I think a lot of times, if you're looking at 1 or 2 days, by the time you get into holidays and school breaks, the difference that you can really make for that child is not super great. Consistency really for young children is very important. And so if they're having a fluctuating schedule between family situations and then coming to school 1 or 2 days and that sort of thing, it's really not ideal. I think it's actually better for them to stay in whatever setting they have, and then when they can attend full time, then do that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but I think unfortunately everyone's schedules are a bit different and not everyone, it's not ideal for
Right.
all families.
Any other thoughts, or Mark?
Just to kind of address that, it's either an educational program or it's a daycare program. If it's an educational program, which is what I believe it is, then you need the structure. If you're trying to just capture the kids and the dollars, and it's a daycare program.
See, I go the other way, and it's not that we're trying to capture the kids or the dollar. What we're trying to do is we're trying to observe and see if there's educational issues that we can help that child with, so that when he comes into kindergarten, we don't say, oh wow, he's so far behind, he's going to need a one-on-one through 5th grade just to get caught up with all the other students. And the reason we did the preschool was so many of our learning, and I get in trouble how I say this, I always say it wrong, but since we went to the preschool, we used to have a whole bunch of one-on-one aides in the building for different students, and we were able to cut that out. So it's the things that can be addressed, we're able to address by identifying the issue at the 3 and 4-year-old age and working on those issues, so by the time they get to 1st grade, they're on track. But if we have that same issue and we don't identify it till 1st grade, sometimes we can't even have it addressed by junior high or high school. You know what I'm trying? Remember that?
Yeah.
Early intervention.
Yeah, it's the
Yes.
early intervention. So, I think it's important just to have the student there, just so, even if they're here 1 day a month and, they're doing a reading program with the child, and say, this child should be paying more attention to the pictures or the vowels or something. They can say, this child may need some attention in some little whatever, and we can work on that with that child, even if they're not in the program, just so that when they come into kindergarten and 1st grade, they're not far behind. So this one is really tough one, because I always felt really serious at make them attend the whole thing, but then I would hate to lose a child. That we could have picked up on something and maybe with some minor interventions could have prevented that child falling back in kindergarten and 1st grade and 2nd grade, and then deciding he didn't like school because it was too tough, and having problems throughout his career.
Can you pick something up like that?
In 1 day?
No, not in 1 day, but in 2 days a week versus 3 days a week, would you pick up on something like that?
Well, yeah, of course, but I think it would take longer than a child who's there for our full program. Because you have to develop a relationship with them, and that will just take a lot longer. And I think that's the nice thing about having the full-time program is that it is accommodating, it's a full school day. And so, the scheduling thing is a little, I think some families just want, they're still young and some families want to opt to have them home. And so I think maybe that's what the modifications are coming from, not necessarily that they can't get here to pick up. It's that they are trying to keep them home or modify it in that way.
So I guess what it would require from the board is this new board to make an affirmation that, you know, either A, we believe that, you know, the program is a program and, you know, if you sign up, we're expecting you to attend the program. Whatever that program is, whatever the days are or the times. Or we don't affirm that and then people can come and go as they please. Yes, ma'am.
Couple questions. So, Dover and Wardsboro kids, pre-K kids, are they subjected to the same choice policy for pre-K?
Universal pre-K.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's why my question. So do they actually have to go through? No, so they can go wherever they want. So my first question actually was going to be, what's the difference between the two? But then I was like, oh, I wonder if, so Wardsboro and Dover kids have access to both programs.
Or they can go to Mount Snow, or they can go wherever they want.
Right.
Money follows the child. And again, it's not about the money to me, it's more about the early intervention.
I'm not interested in having it be a daycare. I mean, I think we need to have the program be the program.
So you want to make a motion?
Yeah, I move that we, what was the wording? Affirm?
Oh, yeah.
Make the motion.
Do you have a question?
No.
Okay.
That we affirm.
That the program is whatever
that
hours that are specified.
The expectation is that all students will attend whatever the program hours are that are specified.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion by Laura, second by Barry. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, I agree 100% with that. It's program.
Yeah, I would say that I would agree. I think that the expectation is for the child to attend all 3 days. But I think since doesn't follow the truancy rules, perhaps we should have a policy of what the expectation is for the parents, if they just start not showing up, or, you know, what happens if they just come 2 days a week and decide not to follow through the program. Is there a policy in place for that, or should the board make a policy?
So that is a really good point. So if we, well,
How would you handle it?
if we, let's hold that and let's go through the vote. And then if we do vote that in the affirmative, then we'll instruct the administrators to do some research for us. And maybe Carrie can help them. So is there any other discussion on the motion, which is to affirm the policy that we've had, or to affirm that the program is program, and if you sign up for it, you are expected to attend the dates and the hours, days and the hours that
Could we word it,
I just did?
that the expectation is that all pre-K students maintain full attendance?
Sure. You okay with that, Laura?
Mm-hmm.
Barry, you good with that?
Amen.
Okay. You ready to vote? All those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Sounds unanimous to me. Okay, so Matt and Tammy, so if a person comes in as administrators and they say, hey, Lindsay, my new 3-year-old's coming to you and you're gonna have them the whole time that you're open, and then in September, Lindsay comes up to you guys and says, hey, guys, you know, Richie's only bringing his kid 1 day a week and he comes in late and pulls her out early. What are you gonna do?
We're going to follow the policy that Dwight is.
We haven't created one. I'm asking that we create.
I'm asking
the administrators to
Well,
create
hang on,
one.
I'm asking you what you would do with, because has this come up in the past?
Not in my year.
Not your year?
No, not this
No.
year.
Yeah, but Tammy, you must have had this, or Matt, you must have had
I
this.
mean, we
with
had,
We haven't had anybody just stop showing up. We have had
No.
a few people.
some. No, but
You
making
started.
it more of a,
usually after 10 absences, a letter goes home to the families. That's how it works
and what does
now.
it say?
It says that your student has missed a certain number of days of school. These are considered unexcused absences. And this may be reported to the Division of Child Services, DCF.
So it's kind of that standard truancy
Yeah.
protocol letter but
Yeah.
again,
But it's really not.
truancy isn't applied to
Okay.
a pre-kindergartner and.
So let's add that to, let's see if other schools have policies, and if they don't count. Could you maybe find out from your people?
That's pretty
Like,
standard.
well, I mean, from like other state's attorney's offices, if they've ever dealt with that?
We do not.
No, if any other ones that have any,
They do not.
they do not. So, you know
They're
what?
they're revamping truancy because DCF no longer accepts truancy, just sole truancy intake. So if Matt or Tammy
They do
calls,
after a certain number. I
um,
think it's 21 days.
if it's just related to truancy, they won't accept them though. It has to be linked to something else, neglect. So,
Well,
just saying.
so let's, get us some sample policies, and then we'll figure out where we go from there.
Sounds like if they exist.
Uh-huh.
If they
Right.
exist.
And maybe Matt and Tammy, if you can just check with some other school districts and see, because I mean, we can't be the first ones to deal with this, and I'm not proud, I don't mind stealing policies and procedures from other people. And Lindsay, maybe if you talk to some preschool teachers or the Wardsboro maybe ask them if they've had this issue and how their schools have dealt with it. And then Matt and Tammy, we can have this discussion in August. We'll have that retreat is truancy. I won't call it truancy, an absent, non-compliance for,
Absentees.
or maybe expectations of really what it is for
Okay.
the pre-kindergarten program, what
Just
the
an expectation, I think. is
parental and
correct.
student expectations
I
are.
think an expectation is the way to go.
okay, expectation for preschool.
You know, almost like that part of that handbook of what the goals are.
Everybody good with that? Yes, Matt?
So just a quick question. May I follow up with the family who's requested this and report your
And if
decision?
they don't, they can come, you know, they can definitely come to the board, but it's, that was the board's decision.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to just throw one more quick thing out. So my child has some issues and some needs, and they get identified, then there could be an IEP for that child that says, I come on Mondays and Wednesdays, right?
That would be an IEP though,
Right, so,
That
I
would
mean,
be
you
different.
have to do that, you have no,
Right.
but that would,
Yeah, I think they would do the opposite. I think they would
Want
try to
them to
give them
come more.
more service.
no, I know, but if
You know.
that's what the IEP, because the parent has a say in the IEP, and the
Yes.
parent says, well, you know, I think this, so it could happen through an IEP. Okay, I won't put you on the spot.
I think certainly, yes, especially if it's a 3-year-old who's not in a full-time program.
Sure.
And if the IEP team is trying to scaffold some early learning, then they could, I can see they might say, we're going to go for 2 of the 3 days,
Okay.
and we're going to start early, we're going to start slow with the student.
And that would override us, because that's, we can't vary.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we haven't done, I mean, if that's something you guys decide is best for the child, then it still can be best for the child.
I think so. I mean, I
Okay.
think as long as we don't, the new policy doesn't make it, make us unable to do that.
Cool. Tammy, hiring procedures over the summer. So are you planning on hiring people?
We have 3 positions opened. The school counselor position, which I think I told you about a couple of weeks ago. We have a pre-K para position that we'll be hiring for. And then also the lunch recess position that we talked about.
So the only position that's certified, licensed, is the guidance counselor.
Correct.
So it's been in Dover, the administrator pretty much just hires non-certified people.
Okay.
So does anybody have a problem, Tammy can just go hire? And I don't think, Matt, we've even put together a committee. I mean, you do with your staff or whoever, but we haven't had board members involved in that.
Not for.
Non-certified.
Non-certified.
Right. Does anybody on the board feel a driving desire to be, that any non-certified hiree have the board have some involvement?
No.
Okay, so those 2 are really easy. Uncertified, usually the board gets to say yay or nay to a candidate. And it's actually the superintendent gets to say, the superintendent gets to bring forward a candidate. We can say nay. So if you talk to your superintendent
Yes.
and his thought was,
Oh, about a specific candidate? No.
No,
I
about
mean, we're-
the position.
We're in the process. So
Okay.
with us not meeting again until August, I wasn't sure, time.
so do you have a committee that you put together for that?
Well, at one of the board meetings, we talked about this, and the board had said that you were okay with myself and at least one other person being on the committee.
So is that set up?
Yes.
So, and does anybody in the board have a desire to be on the committee that helps Tammy hire a person?
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
When you hire other certified positions at Wardsboro, in the past, have you had committees made up of like a parent or parent?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. With this being a .3 position, it's really a day and a half. I think the board said that they were
Right.
okay with me moving forward without the committee.
So a couple things, I think you guys did a great job, like with the music position, having it be the same person in both schools. And I think I asked the question, and ours doesn't have the time to do it, so we could do one person do both schools. But would it make sense though to involve somebody from the Dover building also? On the other hand, that if ours in Dover, if the one in Dover ever leaves, then that way it would be a good fit for both buildings, and maybe that should be something we try to do from now on, that any person we hire, if it's a non-certified, that at least you and Matt talk about it, because that person, even if it maybe is like a .3 or .4, but if there's an opening in the other building, we can give that person more time, so maybe they're more likely to stay and work for us. That would be the only comment I would have. Thoughts? Other than that, I guess I'm good. Everybody else good?
This isn't done through agency funds anymore then? We used to hire through
It
the
won't be because it's
superintendent.
only a Wardsboro position.
Okay, so there's nobody in the supervisory union that has any
Correct.
extra time.
We, in ours doesn't.
No.
Right.
That was at the last meeting. Because that would have been really too easy. And we don't want to do anything
Right.
too easy.
So if we find the right candidate, the next time we will meet, I should bring that candidate forward?
No, I think you just bring us a contract to sign.
Okay.
It's a .3, it's not a classroom
So-
teacher.
So we're making, that was actually gonna be my question, are we making, I wanna differentiate if we're making kind of an exception, because this is not a full-time position, and I don't think I was here for the previous conversation around this position. So I think I would wanna make sure, if we're bringing on a full-time certified staff, that we maintain that, there is a board member on the board, and that we
Yeah,
get to meet the candidate. So what we're talking about here is an exception, because it's a smaller candidate, smaller amount of hours.
And also, not a small candidate, yeah, less,
Smaller
it's a
hours.
.3.
Position, sorry.
And we're not meeting again until August, so that's too long to string somebody along
Okay.
to say, hey, I'm
Okay.
gonna offer you the job, but hang out till August and,
Right.
hope the
That
board
was
says
my
yes.
concern, is that I didn't want somebody to have to wait that extended.
I'm 100% fine with that. I just, because all of this is new, looking for as much clarity as we can get going
But
forward.
that's another thing we need to put in is hiring. I think that's a good operational thing for the retreat.
Do you have everything you need? Do you have enough candidates and stuff to
Thank
get
you,
them
Lindsay.
advertised already?
Thank you.
Lindsay.
Okay.
Yeah, so, everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Cool.
Thank you.
And at the Dover meeting earlier, for the first time in Matt's career at Dover Elementary School, he doesn't have to hire a classroom teacher. Oh, right now, knock on wood.
You better knock on wood again, Matt.
But you didn't have to hire a classroom teacher, right?
We did.
Oh, yes, you hired, I'm sorry, you did, that's right. Hiring policies, we talked about the preschool. Is there any other new business? Okay, we're gonna come back and talk about the non-certified employee handbook, but I'd like to ask for a short executive session before that, and then we'll come back and discuss the handbook.
So moved.
Okay, but are you guys gonna stick around, or do you wanna do next meetings? We're gonna come out and we're gonna make some decisions, and we gotta approve a handbook.
Yeah,
So,
I'm retired, I don't have to get up tomorrow morning.
I will probably not.
You'll probably not stay? Okay. So our next meeting, so we have summer vacation from June 18th to August 4th. School board is out for summer. If somebody would like to sing, that's fine.
That's right.
We're going to do the retreat on August 5th in Wardsboro from 5 to 8:30. I want to remind those other two people who got suckered in, who volunteer, who are going to Wyndham Central, that on July 24th at 7 p.m. at the center of the university, Lynn and Gray,
Who is that?
who are Barry and Laura, right?
No.
Right. I think you,
I think I said yes, but I think you actually had somebody else
Yeah.
just in case, and I think that's who we ended up starting with,
In case.
the JIC.
that's a law.
That's law stuff.
That's law stuff.
We voted people who weren't here. We voted
I thought it was very.
Barry, we voted Barry and Rick who weren't here.
Yeah, I think you got in too, but
I must have not been here.
No, I think
I think you
you
were
were
late
there.
at that meeting.
that was true. I think that, and that was.
Peter,
I
do you
think I said I would
remember?
like to do it, but I wasn't.
That was the problem in the meeting when I came over.
Do you know-
Was getting over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, do you know who we voted in for the Wyndham Central reps for River Valleys?
The last meeting, right?
Oh, jeez.
I'm happy to go.
You can look it up
I'm happy to go, I just
Well,
am
then we
not
would
sure
have
that I'm
to-
appointed.
We would have to
That's what I'm saying.
vote you in if Rick can't make it or Barry can't make it.
You want me to look it up?
Do you mind?
No.
So July 24th is the meeting. We want to make sure we have 3. 7 p.m. And it should be a short one. So Wyndham was voted off the island, kind of. Wyndham was voted to stay an island. So,
Pretty decisively,
yeah. So,
That was a crush.
yeah.
so there'll be the 6 or 7 members from West River. There'll be 2 from Marlboro, 3 from West River, 2 from Wyndham, or 3 from River Valleys, 2 from Wyndham, and the 2 from Marlboro. So it's a 14-member board.
What time is that meeting?
7 p.m. All we're gonna do is reorganize, and there's a couple little things we have to approve, and hopefully we'll sign a contract for the, for the an operations manager and get him going, so he can come and make sure your water system and heat's gonna work, Tammy, Matt.
Great.
So, Rick, if you can't make it, let us know.
Yeah, I will.
And actually, so why don't
24th,
we
you said.
vote Laura as an alternate? Are you around the 24th, either one of you? Oh, that's right. Okay, so Laura, you be an alternate for us, so we'll get at least 2. So before we take off to, I have for 2 contracts, well, actually, so Wyndham Central, I don't sign that here, I sign that at the Wyndham Central
Alternate for
meeting.
what?
So I have 2 River Valley contracts. The first one is for Jessica Bursma, who is going to be a .35 teacher. Doesn't say what she's a teacher. Spanish. And then we have a one for Jennifer Tellini for a .20
Art.
as a teacher. So I just need somebody make a motion to have the board chair sign.
Make a motion to have you sign their contracts.
In a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Carrie moved, Barry seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 What is today?
17.
Yeah, can you give that back to Bill? Tell him we have to do that one at Wyndham
I
Central.
missed what Miss Sibilia is an alternate for.
Wyndham Central Super Board.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So, yeah, let's make a motion to that effect. Somebody,
So
Barry moves it. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Rick seconds it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that one carries too. So executive session motion,
So moved.
second?
Are we leaving the room?
Yes, we're gonna leave the room.
Okay.
Do you need us for that, or do you want us to stay around?
Yeah, I actually do. I would prefer you guys did just come with us.